Welcome back to the final chapter of All Quiet on the Western Front. That's chapter 12. We're on page 293. And in the last chapter, the author was very, very descriptive in his explanation of what war looks like at the end, and this little glimmer of hope that the war might be over. But Paul has finally lost all of his friends, and he's the only one left remaining. And so in chapter 12, and in the very short epilogue after that, we find very much to the end that the author has maintained, using imagery and irony and contrast and personification and repetition, etc., to reveal larger ideas about war and justice and freedom and what people do to other people, humanity, and what humanity means, and what technology means, and what generational differences mean, and what it's like to feel lost and loss. Chapter 12. It is autumn. That means the last time they were together it was summer. We just, in the last couple chapters, saw spring, summer, and now it's fall. And if we think about the symbols of what autumn means, if you remember, we talked about how each of the seasons symbolizes something else. Spring symbolizes youth, hope, new beginnings. Summer symbolizes vitality in human life. It's when people are their strongest. That's usually late teenage into their 20s and 30s, the strongest parts of their lives. Autumn means they're beginning to fall and decline, the autumns of their lives. I'm in the autumn of my life. God willing, there's a winter. And winter is towards the end of one's life. So here's autumn. And the author does this very much on purpose so that we know that things are coming toward an end. It is autumn. There are not many of the old hands left. I am the last of the 7 fellows from our class. So everybody else, pretty much except for one, has died from his class, his school class, like your class, who went to war. Everyone talks of peace and armistice. All wait. If it again proves an illusion, then they will break up. Hope is high. It cannot be taken away again without an upheaval. If there is not peace, then there will be revolution. I have 14 days rest because I have swallowed a bit of gas. In the little garden, I sit the whole day long in the sun at home. The armistice is coming soon. I believe it now too. Then we will go home. Here my thoughts stop and will not. All right, he must not have been home. He must have been in a little garden away from the front. Here my thoughts stop and will not go any farther. All that meets me, all that floods over me, are but feelings. Greed of life, love of home, yearning for the blood, intoxication of deliverance, but no aims. So he's just feeling. He's just in the moment feeling. He has no plans, no goals for his life. He just thinks of home and has feelings for it. Love, greed. Had we returned home in 1916, out of the suffering and the strength of our experience, we might have unleashed a storm. Now, if we go back, we will be weary, broken, burnt out, rootless, and without hope. We will not be able to find our way anymore. And men will not understand us. For the generation that grew up before us, though it has passed these years with us already, had a home and a calling. Now it will return to its old occupations, and the war will be forgotten. And the generation that has grown up after us will be strange to us and push us aside. We will be superfluous even to ourselves. That means we'll be extra. There's no purpose for us. We will grow older. A few will adapt themselves. Some others will merely submit. And most will be bewildered. The years will pass by, and in the end, we shall fall into ruin. But perhaps all this, that I think, is mere melancholy and dismay, Maybe he's just depressed. Which will fly away as the dust. Simile. When I stand once again beneath the poplars and listen to the rustling of their leaves. This simile that talks about which will fly away as the dust is a reference to the Bible. That means it's an allusion. Allusion. And if you remember the expression, ashes to ashes, dust to dust, that means we all return to the ground. So even in this, what he's really saying is that we're merely dead. We're going to be dead anyway. And so all part of the never-ending cycle of death and life, but far too soon for these. It cannot be that it has gone, the yearning that made our blood unquiet, the unknown, the perplexing, the oncoming things, the thousand faces of the future, the melodies from dreams and from books, the whispers and divinations of women, and how divine women are. It cannot be that this has vanished in bombardment, in despair, in brothels, in whorehouses. Brothels are whorehouses. So again, this contrast. All of those dreams that we had as kids, all of the things that in our books, etc., have vanished because of the despair of war. Here the trees show gay and golden, the berries of the rowan stand red among the leaves, country roads run white out to the skyline, and the canteens hum like beehives with rumors of peace. I stand up. I am very quiet. Let the months and years come. They can take nothing from me. They can take nothing more. There's nothing left. I am so alone and so without hope that I can confront them without fear. The life that has borne me through these years is still in my hands and in my eyes. Whether I have subdued it, I know not. But so long as it is there, it will seek its own way out, heedless of the will that is within me. And this is the end of the book. One more page and one more idea, not in Paul's voice, tells of Paul. So if you turn the page to 296, we read at the very bottom of the page, which I also think is ironic. The printing isn't at the top, it's at the bottom. There is no caption for a chapter or anything else. Here's a new voice in third person. He fell in October 1918 on a day that was so quiet and still on the whole front that the Army report confines itself to a single sentence: all quiet on the Western Front. He had fallen forward and lay on the earth as though sleeping. Turning him over, one saw that he could not have suffered long. His face had an expression of calm, as though almost glad the end had come. And isn't it ironic that he died on the quietest of days, on the front when there was very little fighting? Because there are almost no more left. And so at the end of All Quiet on the Western Front, we wonder what the author wanted us to know. You know now, having read Paul's story and his friend's story. And part of the very important part of this is that it was told from the German perspective, not the English perspective, not the American perspective, not the French perspective. And so that humanizes, it equalizes us as human beings. And it tells us that if one man, Paul, who in essence symbolizes all men, all equal men, all working men, and by men we mean humanity, men and women, that he symbolizes every man and what every man's life is worth, and all the little stories about what happened and who happened and why they happened. are sum and parcel of what life is, to whom it's important. And isn't it rich to live it still by seeing the beautiful colors and the nature and the love that Mother Nature is, and the love of a mother for a child in real life, and all of our suffering, and how very rich life is anyway, no matter how difficult. He returns to the earth, calm and peaceful, having not lived more than 20 years, but still having had the glorious relationships and understanding of the earth that's eternal that all people have. And so this is why this is a great book. This is why other books are great, because they relate to all human beings. And at the end of this, we hope that you have enjoyed relating to someone in 1914, 15, 16, 17, 18 in war on another side that you never would have thought about. So consider reading other books that help you relate. And if you want to see me for a list of those books, I can give them to you. For sure. So think of the big ideas here. Think of the central ideas and why it's important that one man, as indistinct and without a name to anyone else, is as important as any other man. And have a good day. Love you guys.